Make an effort to take action. Put your energy into yourself, because that's exactly where true change begins. You won't change just by waiting to feel motivated. Motivation isn't what will save you. It's weak. It changes all the time, and it disappears right when you need it most. But inside you, there's something much stronger, a force that doesn't depend on fleeting enthusiasm, that awakens every time you choose to keep going, even when tired, scared, or lacking confidence. Stoicism is the guide that takes you from words to action. It teaches you how to master your thoughts, transform difficulties into growth, and move forward every day in the direction of what truly matters. Today, you will discover 10 Stoic habits, simple, practical, and powerful, capable of changing your behavior, strengthening your mind, and paving the way for a life with more clarity and firmness. This won't just be another ordinary day, it will be the beginning of your personal transformation. Before we begin, like, comment, and share. This way, this message can reach other people who also need to awaken their inner strength. Now let's begin. Habit 1. The power to say no. How many times have you said yes when deep down you wanted to say no? Every time you accept something against your will, you give away two of your greatest treasures: time and energy. And once they're gone, they never return. Seneca already said, "Nothing truly belongs to us except time." Therefore, learning to say no is not about rejecting people, but about protecting what is essential to you. It's like drawing a line around what is important, preventing something from invading and destroying your inner peace. Think of your life as a fragile vase. It can only hold what is truly important. When you try to overfill it, it becomes heavy and can even break. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that wasting time on the actions of others is to forget your own tasks. And how many times have you put your priorities aside just to please someone? A forced yes is not kindness, it's neglect of yourself. At first, saying no can cause discomfort. It may come with guilt, fear of disappointing others, or of seeming selfish. But every no said consciously is, in fact, a yes to your freedom. It's a reminder that you have the right to choose what you allow into your life. Setting boundaries isn't coldness, it's courage. It's an act of true self-love. Turning down an invitation that doesn't suit you, letting go of something that distracts you, or saying no to a distraction is reaffirming what truly matters. The economist John Maynard Keynes said that an investor's greatest talent lies in knowing how to refuse opportunities that take them away from their purpose. This same idea applies to life. Saying no is an investment in the person you want to become. It's not selfishness, it's being authentic. And there's something even more powerful. When you honor your boundaries, you teach others to respect you too. A conscious no doesn't close paths. It creates space for your true self to flourish. And every time you have the courage to say no to what doesn't represent you, you take a firm step toward a lighter, freer, and more sincere life. Habit 2. Growing up is learning to let go of what doesn't belong to you. Have you ever stopped to think about what you're still holding on to, even though you know it's lost its meaning? It could be an object you keep out of attachment, an old idea that no longer serves you, or even a relationship that ceased to have life a long time ago. We often carry burdens that no longer serve us, and they only steal our energy and prevent us from moving forward. The Stoics remind us, you can't hold something new if your hands are still full of what's old. And it's true, while we insist on holding on to what has lost its meaning, we close the door to what truly matters. Letting go requires courage. It's like cleaning out a drawer full of useless things. To make room, you need to remove what's just taking up space. But this drawer doesn't only exist outside, it's also inside us, in our minds and emotions. These are limiting beliefs, promises that no longer make sense, expectations that no longer belong to you. Marcus Aurelius brought a powerful image: be like a rock that the waves cannot move, but that lets the water carry away everything that does not belong to it. This lesson teaches us to hold fast to what is essential and let go of what doesn't add value. True freedom for the Stoics is born from detachment, not only from material things, but also from the illusion that we can control what was never in our hands. In daily life, this can mean abandoning habits that tire you, ending cycles that have lost their meaning, or leaving behind the fear of making mistakes. opening space for new opportunities. And when you free yourself from what doesn't serve you, something beautiful happens. Life begins to breathe again. It's not just physical or emotional space you gain, it's a new energy. It's like opening the windows of a house that's been closed for a long time and feeling the fresh air coming in. Everything seems lighter. So, look at your life. What objects do you keep unnecessarily? What old ideas still hold you back? What relationships do you maintain even knowing they no longer nourish you? Often, it's not life that holds us back. It's we who continue to hold on to chains that are already broken. Here is the Stoic practical application of this lesson. Make a list of what you need to let go of. It can be objects, habits, thoughts, or people. Choose one thing, just one, and let it go today. Every small act of detachment is, in fact, a giant step towards a lighter and more authentic life. And every time you make space within yourself, something new finds room to be born. Habit 3. Overcome the "I'll do it tomorrow" mentality and start building results now. Each day is like a piece of a puzzle. When you procrastinate, it's not just a delay. It's like leaving empty spaces that prevent the picture of your life from being complete. Procrastination is more than just putting things off. It's silently sabotaging your own dreams. Marcus Aurelius already warned in his Meditations, "Do not run away from the task that reason gives you today. You were not born to waste time." And why do we postpone it so much? Often because we think we are not yet ready, that we need more courage, more energy, or more time. But the truth is simple. Nobody is ever fully prepared. Lao Tzu said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And that step never happens tomorrow. It can only be taken now. Think of something you've been putting off. A project, a choice, a habit that could change everything. What's really holding you back? Stoic teaching says that we only have power over what is within our reach. So, instead of getting lost in fear of the future or regret of the past, take a small action today. It could be opening that file on your computer, making that call you've been avoiding, or simply taking the first step towards your goal. Overcoming inertia is sending a message to yourself. I can do it. Seneca said that while we wait for life, it passes us by. And that's what procrastination does. It steals time that never comes back. When you let go of the idea of tomorrow, you reclaim the power of the present and begin to build a real future. Think of an empty bucket. Every small action you take is a drop that fills it. Procrastinating is like turning off the tap and expecting the bucket to fill itself, which will never happen. The secret is to open the flow, even slowly, and let it run. There will always be resistance, that force that pushes you towards the couch, towards distractions, towards the thought of, "I'll do it later." But it is by acting, even a little, that you change the course of your life. But when you choose to act, even if the step is small, it shows that your will is stronger than any excuse. Turn this lesson into a real commitment in your life. Tell yourself, "Today, I choose to act." And remember, every time you overcome procrastination, you add another piece to the puzzle of your story. And little by little, the image that once seemed incomplete begins to reveal itself clearly. Habit 4. When your mind becomes strong, anxiety weakens. Anxiety is like a storm inside you. The sky may be clearing, but inside the wind continues to blow strongly, leaving you paralyzed and unsure of what to do. How many times have you found yourself trapped in thoughts that won't stop, spinning uncontrollably? It is at this moment that Stoicism enters like a compass, showing that even with the waves crashing, there is still direction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If something external causes you pain, it's not the thing itself that hurts you, but the value you give it, and that you can change at any time." This idea brings a simple and liberating truth. You don't control the world outside, but you can choose how you react to it. And that's where true freedom is born. For the Stoics, anxiety arises when we focus on what we cannot control. As Seneca said, "We fear more than we suffer, and we suffer more in our imagination than in reality." In other words, it's not life that destroys us. It's our minds that create monsters far bigger than they are. Imagine you're pulling a rope tightly. The more you try to hold on to something beyond your control, the more tension you feel. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Let go of the rope. This act has a name, the dichotomy of control, which means learning to separate what depends on you from what doesn't. That thought alone brings immediate relief. Overcoming anxiety isn't about running away from problems, but facing them calmly. When the weight of worry comes, stop for a moment, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I control now? That question alone weakens the storm because it pulls you out of the world of imagination and brings you back to the present. That's how Marcus Aurelius faced his own fears, by writing. When he put his worries on paper, he realized that many of them weren't as terrible as they seemed. You can do that too. Write down your fears, face them, and see that most of them are just smoke, not fire. And also practice the second Stoic teaching, amor fati, which means love destiny. This doesn't mean giving up or conforming, but embracing even the paths you didn't expect. When you accept what you cannot change, the burden becomes wisdom, and the pain transforms into strength. Learning to cope with anxiety is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It's the key to living with calm, focus, and presence. The practice is simple. Write down 3 things that are beyond your control and 3 that truly depend on you. Then, decide to let go of what is beyond your control and act on what is within your power. This small gesture alone can change the course of your day. Remember the Stoic lesson. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust the sails. And when you learn to do that, you realize you no longer need to fear the storm because even the strongest wind can push you further. Write in the comments, "Today, I release what I can't control." Take that step now, because every time you let go of the rope, adjust your sails and face the present, anxiety loses its power and you become the captain of your own life again. Habit 5. Nothing happens until you decide to act. What truly prevents us from achieving great things is not a lack of talent, but a lack of action. Seneca already said, "Dreams don't die because they are impossible, but because many give up before even trying." Think of a huge mountain. The summit may seem very distant when you look from below, but the size of the challenge isn't the most important thing. What matters is giving it your all. First step. Without it, nothing changes. With it, you already begin to grow. Progress doesn't come from perfection. It comes from action. That is why wise people understand, done is better than perfect. Because what truly transforms your life isn't the perfect plan, but the act, no matter how small it may seem. Epictetus taught that one becomes excellent by practicing every day. And he was right. Each action is like a brick in the construction of your life. You don't need to build the entire building today. You just need to lay one brick at a time. The secret lies in the small movements. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to change something now. Want to take care of your health? Start with a 5-minute walk. Want to learn something new? Read a few pages of a book. Small steps create momentum, and that momentum takes you further than big ideas that never leave the drawing board. It's normal to feel insecure at the beginning. The first results are almost never pretty, and that's okay. The important thing is to keep going. Adjust, grow, and learn from each attempt. Each step, even imperfect ones, sends a powerful message. I am able to move forward. The Stoics always remind us, it's not what happens that defines you, but how you react to what happens. Reacting with action, even small action, is an act of courage. The secret to achieving the life you want lies not in giant leaps, but in the consistency of daily steps. It is repetition that changes destiny. So today I invite you to take the first step towards what you most want to change or achieve. Don't wait for the right moment. It will never come. Choose a simple action and do it. Now, Habit 6. From lost to focused. How to create a routine that changes everything. Chaos doesn't go away on its own. If you do nothing, it grows and takes over everything. When the mind lacks direction, it wakes up confused, runs all day, and ends up exhausted, without understanding where it spent so much energy. Creating a routine is the simplest way to transform this confusion into clarity. Having a routine isn't about being trapped. It's about giving your life meaning, a clear path. Imagine waking up already knowing where your energy is going, without getting lost in 1,000 choices that lead nowhere. It's like having a silent GPS inside you. It doesn't control you, but it shows you the way and prevents waste. When the mind understands the next step, it stops sabotaging itself and starts helping. Anxiety decreases, productivity increases, and your dreams begin to take shape. That is why Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Focus on doing what is before you fairly, carefully, and attentively without getting distracted." Routine is like fertile soil. Small habits nurtured every day create roots that sustain your entire life. You don't need to be anything huge. Organize your mornings, choose a priority, and set aside a few minutes to think. That's how discipline and resilience are born. Seneca said, "A life without purpose is completely empty. A well-planned day is a well-lived day." That's what a daily plan does. It transforms loose hours into constant progress. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be achievable. A small step today is worth more than a big promise left for tomorrow. And remember, your routine doesn't have to be the same as anyone else's. Those who live with family don't live the same way as those who live alone. The secret is not to copy, but to adapt each action to your own life. When you adjust your routine to your way of life, it ceases to be a burden and becomes a firm foundation, a ground upon which your plans take shape. Before starting any change, stop for a moment and look within yourself. What are your resources? What do you need to do every day? Where are your limits? Only when you clearly understand where you are can you decide where you want to go. And the Stoic secret is simple. Write down 3 small actions to repeat throughout the week. It could be spending a few minutes in silence when you wake up, stretching before starting your day, or organizing your tasks before work. In the end, you'll realize that it wasn't one big change that turned everything around, but the small, consistent gestures that made the difference. Each day is a new page. What you write today can become the beginning of a new path. Leave your comments below. Today, I begin a new chapter. Because when you're the one guiding your routine, the noise of chaos diminishes, clarity appears, and life ceases to be mere resistance and becomes growth. But there's something important to understand. If you've been trying for a long time to step out of your comfort zone and learn more, but haven't been able to, there might be something you're not aware of. I know what it might be. Anxiety. Anxiety is like a snake that creeps up silently and affects you without you even realizing it. It leaves you feeling unwell for days, months, and even years. Living like this is like being sick all the time. But I know a solution. Stoic philosophers, along with modern psychology, have a way to help you get rid of it. I managed to cure myself of this anxiety. I made a video explaining how you can get rid of this problem, and it's in the first comment. Click the link in the first comment and start healing yourself from this feeling of anxiety. Habit 7. Learn to breathe again. We live in a world that seems to scream at us to go faster and faster, as if stopping were a mistake. But the truth is that pausing is an act of courage, because it requires swimming against the current of haste and taking care of what sustains everything: balance. The Stoics, who faced enormous challenges, knew that strength lies not only in acting, but also in knowing when to stop. Seneca said, "Nothing is more useful to man than to live with himself from time to time." This phrase reminds us that silence and solitude are not a luxury, they are a necessity. They recharge our energy, clear our thoughts, and help us rediscover the meaning of our path. If you're always rushing around, trying to solve everything at once, you run a great risk, losing one's way. It's like a campfire. It's no use constantly throwing wood on it. You need pauses for the air to circulate. Without that, the fire goes out. The same happens to you. Working without rest may seem like dedication, but in reality it's the shortest path to burnout. Think of a long car trip. You can drive for hours with total focus, but if you never stop to look at the map, you might end up going in the wrong direction. Stopping to review the route isn't being late, it's wisdom. Life is the same. Taking breaks isn't laziness, it's investing in clarity. It's in these moments that you realize if you're just busy or truly making progress. And you can start simply. Separate it in minutes a day to take a deep breath, walk in silence, or simply sit without distractions. These small breaths create space within you, and often the answer that seemed impossible appears precisely in that moment of pause. Stopping is not giving up, it's respect yourself. Respect your body, your mind, and your purpose. Because when you allow yourself to breathe, you're not interrupting the journey. You're ensuring you have the breath to complete it. And every time you consciously give yourself time, you don't waste time. It gains direction. Habit 8. What you feel, you attract. Imagine the universe as a vast field of energy. Just as a magnet attracts metal, you also attract to yourself what you transmit. This isn't magic, it's coherence. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions have the power to shape what happens around you. Marcus Aurelius once said that the soul takes on the color of its own thoughts. If the color of your mind is dark, you spread shadow. But if it is clear, firm, and positive, you spread light. Life always responds to the energy you send out. Look around you, two people in the same place, one full of enthusiasm, confidence, and determination, the other discouraged, always complaining and doubting themselves. Who would you prefer to be around? The answer is simple, because naturally we are drawn to those who vibrate positivity, courage, and hope. Being a magnet for progress means acting in accordance with the life you want to build. This begins by fulfilling your promises, including the promises you make to yourself. If you said you'd work out, go. If you promised to study, study. If you chose to be present, truly be present. This responsibility creates a strong and continuous energy. The more you act in harmony with your goals, the more the universe gives you back situations, people, and opportunities that propel you forward. Stoicism teaches that the world around us is not under our control, but the energy we send out into it is always in our hands. Want to attract success? Cultivate habits that express success. Want good relationships? Practice kindness and sincerity. Want self-control? Show it in every response, in every action. Marcus Aurelius reinforced this. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. But being a magnet for progress has nothing to do with seeking the approval of others. It's about living truthfully, acting according to your values, following your principles, and being honest even when no one is watching. True strength comes from being at peace with who you are. So ask yourself every day, do my choices reflect the life I want to create? If the answer is no, change what needs changing. Every small change transforms the energy you send out into the world. And always remember Confucius's words, it is better to light a candle than to complain about the darkness. When you change your attitude, you don't just transform your own life, you also change everything around you. Strengthen your inner energy, and you will find that you naturally attract people, opportunities, and achievements. Your energy is your greatest treasure, and taking care of it is consciously choosing the future you want to build. Habit 9. Break your limits now. Imagine reaching the end of the year and looking back with pride, realizing that you weren't carried away by life, but that you yourself chose to get up, challenge yourself, and grow. That the limits that once held you back no longer exist because you had the courage to face them. Growth doesn't spring from comfort. It arises from the terrain of difficulties. That's why the Stoics saw obstacles not as enemies, but as teachers. Marcus Aurelius summarized this wisdom in a few words. What is in your path becomes the path. What seems like a blockage today may actually be the impetus that will make you grow. Facing challenges doesn't mean seeking pain, but accepting discomfort consciously. Seneca said that difficulties, whether of the body, mind, or heart, serve as tools to strengthen who we are. Each obstacle overcome is like laying another brick in the fortress of your soul. Start with small challenges, mastering your reaction when everything inside you wants to scream. Choose calm over anger. Take care of your body with dedication. Control the urge to spend without thinking or to eat impulsively. These gestures seem small, but each one is a silent achievement. You can also challenge yourself to greater things. Speak in public even if you're afraid, learn something that seems difficult, step outside your comfort zone, or simply say no to a habit that holds you back. Every time you face discomfort and overcome it, you discover a strength you didn't know you had. When you transform I can't into I did, your mind grows, your confidence increases, and a new version of you begins to emerge. Discomfort ceases to be a prison and becomes the path to freedom. So here's the challenge. Choose something that takes you out of your comfort zone. It could be that conversation you've been avoiding, a week of consistent exercise, or a whole day without complaining. The size doesn't matter. What counts is the courage to act. If this resonates with you, mentally repeat, "Today I push my limits." Every time you go beyond what you thought was possible, you get a little closer to your true power. Habit 10. Take time each day for strategic silence. There is a kind of strength that doesn't come from effort, nor from haste, nor from rigid discipline. It comes from silence, a conscious, chosen, profound silence. A silence that is not an escape from the world, but a return to oneself. The Stoics understood this clearly. Every mind that does not withdraw is lost. Every soul that does not return inward weakens. Strategic silence is the moment when you close the doors to external noise and return to listening to the most important sound of all, your own conscience. We live in a time where everything grabs our attention. Screens light up, notifications vibrate, voices offer opinions, problems demand immediate answers. We are pushed outside ourselves every second, and when the mind is exposed for too long, it wears out. It's like a fountain that gushes water without ever replenishing itself. Eventually it dries up. Silence is the moment of return to the origin. It's where you replenish what is lost in constant contact with the world. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself every day before the emperor within him awoke. He knew that if he didn't withdraw first, he would be dragged down by routine, chaos, and external demands. Daily silence was his invisible shield. Perhaps you are not yet the emperor of an empire, but you are certainly the commander of your own life. And like any commander, you need clarity to decide, and clarity is born from stillness. Seneca said that much of human suffering does not come from the world, but from the internal noise we create when we don't stop to observe. When we are always busy, always reacting, always distracted, the mind becomes fertile ground for worries, dramas, fears, and distorted interpretations. Strategic silence is the moment to look at all this with distance, to breathe, to separate what is true from what is fantasy, what is fact from what is fear, what is yours from what belongs to the world. At first, it might be uncomfortable. Silence reveals what was hidden. It shows your discomforts, your wounds, your inconsistencies. But that's where the gold lies. If you don't look at yourself, you'll always be trying to fix the world while remaining broken inside. Silence is where you organize yourself, where you realize where you are, where you redefine your intentions, where you listen to your intuition, that inner voice that almost never shouts but always knows. Set aside a moment in your day, it could be when you wake up or before bed, to withdraw for a few minutes. No music, no cell phone, no conversation. Just you, your breath, and your attention. Don't expect it to be mystical or extraordinary. It will be subtle. But over time, this small gesture becomes an anchor. When the world feels heavy, you'll have a place to return to. When chaos tries to drag you down, you'll have a solid center within yourself. This strategic silence is not absence. It is presence, total presence, presence with oneself, presence with one's life. It is in this recollection that your mind is strengthened, your vision becomes clearer, and your emotions find space to breathe. It is in this silence that peace is born, that does not depend on circumstances. The strength that does not depend on recognition, the clarity that does not depend on luck. Write in the comments to seal this inner commitment. Today, I return to myself, because those who learn to withdraw from the relationship don't get lost. Those who return to silence never return to chaos in the same way. Habit 11. Train your focus like you sharpen a blade. Focus is one of the rarest strengths in the modern world. Not because it's difficult to learn, but because almost no one is willing to protect their mind with the same seriousness with which they protect their body. Today, distraction is the norm. The mind wakes up already being invaded by notifications, comparisons, demands, expectations, and stimuli that fragment thoughts before the day even begins. That's why so many people live tired but never truly productive. They do a lot, but build little. They are busy all the time but don't move towards anything that really matters. Imagine a blade stored away for a long time without care. It loses its edge, wears down, becomes heavy and useless. Focus is the same when it's not trained. It becomes slow, scattered, and unable to sustain its decisions. But when you sharpen that blade, When you train your ability to maintain attention on one thing at a time, something profound happens. Your mind learns to cut away the unnecessary. It stops getting lost in useless worries and begins to move in a straight line in the direction of what you have decided to build. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Concentrate on doing what is before you with justice, care, and attention." This phrase is a powerful reminder that focus is not just a matter of productivity, it's a matter of presence. When you are fully present in an action, without dividing your energy among 1,000 thoughts, something within you aligns. The mind stabilizes. Anxiety loses its power. The body relaxes. And what seemed difficult begins to feel natural. Training your focus doesn't require complex techniques. It requires silent discipline. Start by closing doors instead of trying to open new ones. Don't try to do everything at once. Choose one task, just one, and stick with it until the end. Your mind will resist. It will try to lead you to your phone, to messages, to distractions disguised as urgency. It is precisely at these times that the training begins. Every time you bring your attention back, even for a few seconds, you are sharpening the blade. You can also practice focus by training your body. When you breathe, breathe consciously. When you walk, walk feeling the step, the weight, the ground. When you listen to someone, listen fully, without thinking about the response while the other person is still speaking. These small gestures shape the mind to remain where the body is. Presence becomes a habit, and focus is born from it. The focus isn't on intensity, it's on continuity. It's no use concentrating for an hour today and then spending the rest of the week distracted. The secret is consistency. 5 minutes of genuine attention are worth more than an hour spent on autopilot. And when that consistency is repeated, it transforms into inner strength. You begin to realize that you can finish what you start, that you can keep promises to yourself. And that's the kind of confidence no one can take away from you. So today, make a simple pact. Choose one main task, just one. Put your phone away. Clear the clutter from your environment. Breathe. Begin. It doesn't matter if the result is small. The important thing is to finish. Because every time you finish something, you send a silent message to yourself. I am in control. I decide where I put my energy. I sharpen my blade every day. Write in the comments as a commitment, today I choose to focus. Because while most people waste energy, you will be building a mind that knows how to remain firm, clear, and sharp in the face of what matters. Habit 12. Slow down to notice what really matters. Modern life has created a rhythm that the body cannot keep up with and that the mind was not made to sustain. Haste has become the norm. Everything needs to be done now, without pause, without silence, without breathing. And the more you run, the more you seem to be behind schedule. The more you try to keep up with everything, the more you feel you are missing out on something. The feeling of constant urgency creates a dangerous illusion that you will only have value if you are always doing, always producing, always in motion. But this movement without direction is not progress, it is exhaustion. Slowing down isn't about stopping, it's about regaining control of your own rhythm. It's about remembering that you're not a machine that needs to function all the time. It's about recognizing that there are moments that can't be lived in a rush. When you slow down, life reveals details that were hidden in the speed. Your breathing becomes deep again. Your thoughts become organized. Your body relaxes. Your mind stops screaming. Seneca said that no wise person lives rushing from one place to another. He knew that haste robs things of meaning. When you live too fast, you eat without savoring the taste. You speak without truly listening. You are present in body, but absent in soul. Life passes before you like a landscape through a train window. Everything happens, but nothing touches you. Everything passes, but nothing transforms. Slowing down is a conscious act. It's a gesture of courage in a world that values haste as if it were synonymous with importance. When someone slows down, it seems like they're falling behind. But the truth is the opposite. Those who slow down recover their path, while those who run aimlessly end up losing themselves. Try to remember a moment when you were fully present. Perhaps a sunset, a silent embrace, a genuine conversation. There was no rush. Peace exists in paying attention to the moment, not in its speed. The more present you are, the more life gains depth. Things that once seemed small begin to reveal their value. The touch, the gaze, the breath, the pause. The essential has always been there, but can only be seen when you slow down. Slowing down is also a choice. It's about looking at your day and asking, what truly deserves my energy? Not everything that grabs your attention deserves your presence. Not everything that demands urgency deserves priority. Often, most of the tiredness you feel doesn't come from the work itself, but from the excess of unimportant things you carry without realizing it. Start with simple practices. Before getting out of bed, take 3 calm breaths. Before replying to a message, allow a second of silence. Before beginning a task, observe how you are feeling. Walk more slowly for a few minutes each day. Eat mindfully, paying attention to the flavor. Speak less, listen more. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Look into someone's eyes. Slowing down happens in the body before it happens in the mind. When you slow down, the world doesn't stop, but you cease to be dragged along by it. Life gains texture, depth, and presence. Thought ceases to be turbulent and becomes clear. The heart finds its order, and the soul finds space to breathe. Write in the comments as a silent commitment. Today, I choose to slow down. Because when you slow down, you discover that happiness isn't in the next step, but in this one. It's not in what you still have to achieve, but in what is already here, now, with you. Habit 13. Seek wisdom, not approval. Have you ever noticed how most of our actions, thoughts, and even decisions stem from the silent desire to be seen, accepted, or admired? Without even realizing it, we live trying to prove something to someone, to family, to friends, to strangers on social media, or even to past versions of ourselves. But this is a path that never ends. When approval is the goal, you become a prisoner of expectations that aren't yours, and nothing weighs more than carrying a life that doesn't belong to you. The Stoics taught that true inner strength is born when you stop living for the gaze of others. Seneca said, "Other people's opinions are like the wind. Don't build your house on them. When you seek approval, you become vulnerable to praise, silence, and criticism. Your mood changes according to what you hear. Your confidence depends on what others say. Your worth fluctuates according to the reflection the world sends back. And so, your identity becomes a house built on sand." Wisdom walks in the opposite direction. It begins the moment you decide to live according to your principles, even if no one applauds, even if no one sees, even if no one understands. Because wisdom is not something others recognize in you. It's something you cultivate when you are alone. It demands stillness, it demands presence, it demands courage. When you seek wisdom, you begin to ask different questions. No more, what will they think of me? But rather, does this make me a better person? No more, does this make me look strong? But rather, does this strengthen my essence? No more, is that impressive? But rather, is that true? Approval is quick, seductive, and empty. It lasts an instant and disappears. Wisdom is slow, silent, and lasting. It grows through the daily repetition of simple actions, observing before reacting, speaking less than you know, choosing what builds you up and abandoning what empties you. Seeking wisdom is learning to be content with the unseen. It's accomplishing a task well even when no one is watching. It's studying and improving because it honors who you are, not because someone will notice. It's listening to someone with complete attention, not to respond better, but to understand more deeply. And here's a truth that many avoid. When you live to be approved, everything becomes a performance. Even your virtues become a mask. You don't seek to be good, you seek to appear good. You don't seek to be strong, you seek to appear strong. You don't seek to be free, you seek to appear free. And this wears down the soul, but when you live to be wise, your life becomes lighter. You stop competing for space. You stop comparing yourself. You stop feeling the need to prove something. You begin to live in peace with your own rhythm. Wisdom is not about knowing a lot. It's about to practice deeply the little that is essential, to honor your word, control your reactions, cultivate inner silence, acting according to your values, even when no one is watching. This is the kind of strength that no one can take away from you, because it's born from within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, Don't waste time thinking about what others are doing. Think about how you can be better. That's the point. The world doesn't need to applaud you for you to grow. True growth is silent. So leave your commitment here, without rushing and without seeking validation. Today, I choose to grow from within. Because those who seek approval end up lost, but those who seek wisdom find it. Habit 14. Regain clarity and direction. Life is like a road that's always changing. Sometimes everything seems easy and fluid, as if we're on the right track. At other times we stumble, stray from the path and lose clarity. But it's important to remember something simple. Stumbling is part of the journey, and starting over is a choice that's always in our hands. Marcus Aurelius left a powerful lesson. If you stumble, get back on the path. It's not as if you've fallen forever. This phrase shows the true meaning of starting over. It doesn't matter how long you've been standing still. What defines your story is not the pause, but the decision to move forward. Getting back on track doesn't mean chasing after lost time. It's about directing your energy toward what truly matters, calmly and firmly. Think about it. What area of your life needs more attention today? Your health? A forgotten project? A relationship that needs nurturing? The first step is what breaks the inertia, and from there, movement begins again. After that, each step becomes easier, until everything starts to flow naturally. The same happens with your life. Just a small push is enough to get things moving. Seneca used to say, "Hasten slowly." True progress doesn't depend on haste, but on consistency. A small advance today has much more power than a big promise left for tomorrow and never fulfilled. Starting over is learning to respect the natural rhythm of things, and above all, your own rhythm. Just as a gardener prepares the soil before planting a seed, you too need to prepare your mind and heart before moving forward. Take a moment to listen to yourself. Make the adjustments you feel are necessary and reconnect with what truly matters. Starting over is not a sign of weakness. It's an act of self-care. Each fall shows that you are learning, growing, and becoming stronger. Resume the course of your life. The movement doesn't need to be huge or attention-grabbing. It just needs to be genuine, sincere, and show your decision to keep walking. To mark this new beginning, write in the comments, "Today I started over." Keep these with you. Habits, and may each conscious choice be like a brick laid in the foundation of a clearer, more balanced and firmer life. If this message resonated with you, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.